Hi everyone, welcome to week 5 overview and explanation of our assignments. I hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas and New Year's with your family and friends and have a chance to recharge and ready to start your year fresh and energized again. So week 5, it really revolves around determining vocabulary, what actually requires explicit instruction, and understanding the strategies for it. Also, how to write a measurable objective we'll be exploring. I don't think that there is a great deal of information in general in education about how to choose vocabulary and knowing what to teach. Do you teach the hard words? Do you teach words that are sight words? What do we teach? So basically, that's what this week is revolving around. We're going to be learning about pre, during, and post reading instructional strategies, understanding visualization as you listen to the book See the Ocean that I have videoed for you to listen to. It's an amazing book, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. It's one of the most awesome ways to create or tools to create an introduction to visualization for your students, or just to help understand visualization a little more. In about vocabulary that we just talked about, and also the definition, purpose, and instructional strategies for academic vocabulary. And finally, last but not least, by any means, actually the most important, is how to write measurable learning outcomes and objectives. You will see that there are no assigned readings for the course this week. And that's because you have these other things that are due, and I try to, excuse me, I try to spread those things out. You'll notice the PowerPoint as always. This is an old one that's hidden. This is your folder for your dyslexia resources for the assignment that is due week 5. Remember that the dyslexia assignment is due both on Moodle and Chalk and Wire. So this is the template that you'll be using for that assignment. I always do this. I put it over in the corner where where I have the Screencast-O-Matic working, and then I can't get it to come up. Okay, so this is what it looks like. It gives you the directions here. You will have students in your classroom at some point in your career that will struggle with the task of being, let me see if I can get that to be down a little bit. There you go. Struggle with the task of reading due to being diagnosed with dyslexia. So this assignment asks you to be aware of those warning signals and that can be connected to dyslexia, and asking you to design some curriculum, in this particular case, a strategy that will help with those students. So you're supposed to pick a topic in your content area. Now, if you're, for example, K-3, which I think most people are, then you can choose any content area. You can choose math, science, social studies. You can choose any of those. And it asks you to find the content standard, and this says Common Core, or there is no Common Core anymore. It's just the New Ohio Learning Standard. And this is a template that is used in different courses. So just understand that what you're looking for are the New Ohio Learning Standards, not Common Core. And then you need to make sure it's appropriately connected to the topic. Design an activity where you choose a content reading strategy. The ideas you can choose are found in the Janet Allen books, like the Tools and More Tools and the PDF Dyslexia Handbook that is in the resource section of week 5. They can be used with students that have dyslexia. You're supposed to choose a strategy, explain why you're using it, connect your explanation to resources from our course or from independent research you found on your own, And finally, create a type of self-assessment for the student with dyslexia. Their self-assessment may be a checklist. Remember, it is a self-assessment for the students to take. It's not an assessment for you to take or to develop. Let me back up on that. You do develop it, but it is a self-assessment, not for your lesson, but for the students who take part in this lesson. It can be a checklist, it can be a reflection instrument, and you'll include that self-reflection assessment instrument with this assignment. And I'll show you an example of one in a few minutes. So you're going to list your topic. For example, if I were going to do something with communities and social studies, you're going to list the reading content standard that you are going to use, not social studies, a reading content standard. And then you're going to write a measurable objective that follows the condition, behavior, outcome criteria format, which you will see more of. There is a video that explains that to you. And then you are going to write your chosen strategy, and you need to cite this with dyslexia research with the content area. I'm not going to go through every word of the explanation. I'm simply going to ask you to read this template extremely carefully, because especially the self-assessment part, people tend to get a little confused on. So you're creating a self-assessment for students with dyslexia, and it aligns with your selected strategy so that it can be used by the learner to gauge progress toward that stated objective that you're going to be having. So that's a very important part of it. So I'm going to get out of that portion. And then I am going to give you an example. I'm going to pull up an example for you here now. So here is the same form we just went over, but this is completed. So this is rocks and minerals for the topic, grade 3 for the grade level. And then the reading content standard that I am using is to determine the meaning of general academic and domain-specific words and phrases in a text relevant to a grade 3 topic or subject area. And I'm also listing my science topic, or I'm listing that content statement as well. Earth's non-living resources have specific properties. You do not have to have both of these. I think having the content standard for both makes it better, but you don't have to have it for the subject area. So here is what I was talking to you about, the information on how to write a clear objective. So that explains the behavior conditions criterion. It gives you good examples. It gives you great action verbs to use in that. So this is a wonderful resource that you can use to help you understand. Okay, so next we're going to go back to the template example. And so it's just basically telling you that it gives you information to write the measurable objectives. Here's the measurable objective with this lesson. Students will be able to make entries into their science notebook to illustrate and define the academic language terms necessary to understand the lesson, including rock, mineral, geologist, inorganic, shape, streak, magnifying glass, luster, and texture, and inorganic with 90% accuracy. You see here, this 90% accuracy makes that measurable. If I just stopped it and said, in texture and inorganic and leave it there, it's not measurable. So now I'm getting down. The strategy that I chose was front loading with images. So I explained the strategy and explain how it's going to help with the vocabulary portion of my measurable learning outcome or objective. And then I explain what it does. that it allows students to process the information in multiple ways and so on. And then I show my link for research. And then I say, students will have an opportunity to work on their science journals and so on and so on. So everything is all laid out. Here's the self-assessment that I created. My drawing looks like the type of rock it represents, and so on. So that is the format that you will be using for this. Here is the dyslexia handbook that, although I say, and it says there's no true reading assignment for this week, you do need to read that. Let me see if I clicked on the wrong thing, or that dyslexia link is, there it is. I clicked on the wrong link there. So you do need to go through and read this handbook. It's 15 pages, it's fast reading, and it's just what you need though to help you to understand dyslexia and this assignment. No. My husband is carrying on a conversation with me in the back of this video, sorry. So this is all the information you need. Really explains everything. It has to be submitted on both Chalk and Wire and Moodle, and here are the 2 rubrics that go along with it. As always, folks, it's so very important that you use these rubrics, and have them beside you as you're working on creating this assignment. Both of these rubrics are the same. As you can see, here is the rubric for Chalk and Wire. The rubrics are the same. The point values are the only difference. See, it's not like you have to have 2 different rubrics that you have there in front of you, and you're trying to sort them all out. Let me go back and I'll show you here with the Moodle one. So you'll see Moodle is exactly the same, but up at the top it has different point values. So no confusion on them being two different rubrics, just knowing that that they have different point values. So let's go a little bit further here. Here are the directions you need to read carefully. Here is your task, and this just explains that this is a key assignment that you will be using throughout your college career, or your university career for education. All right, so we're going to get out of that right now. I'm going to go back to week 5. And this is the See the Ocean that I explained you need to read or listen to me read. Here is the uploading for Chalk and Wire submissions, Chalk and Wire login. Here is the forum. The forum is on dyslexia. And open that up really quickly for you. You're going to view the video and share how it's affirmed, challenged, and changed your mind about the topic of dyslexia, and all of the directions are right there for that. Something that is very familiar to you, this part of it. And then we're going to look back down here. I'm trying to get this in under the wire with the 15-minute time frame I have. And so here's your submission selections for both of these for dyslexia, and here's your PowerPoint activity response. So as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know anything that you have a question about with any of your assignments. Text me, email me, call me, whatever you need to do. And here are the PowerPoint questions, as they always are in that link. So I hope you have a wonderful week, and I look forward to talking with you soon. Thanks.